Hey all, and welcome back. So, let's talk about something big that's happening right now. The government is once again on the edge of shutting down.
Yeah, you heard that right.
And honestly, it feels like déjà vu, doesn't it? It seems like every few years, we're back here watching the same drama play out on Capitol Hill. Now, here's the big question. Who's actually to blame this time? Well, that depends on who you ask. Democrats say Republicans are playing political games and refusing to pass a clean funding bill. Republicans argue the opposite, that Democrats are being reckless with spending and aren't willing to compromise. And of course, both sides are pointing fingers as the clock keeps ticking. Let's pause here for a second. What do you think? Do you believe one party shoulders more of the responsibility, or do you see this as a failure of the whole system? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I think a lot of people are fed up with the constant blame game, no matter which side they're on. So, what's really at stake if the government shuts down? Well, for starters, hundreds of thousands of federal workers could be furloughed or forced to work without pay. National parks?
Closed.
Services like passport processing or food inspections? Delayed or put on hold. And here's one you might not think about. Small businesses that depend on federal contracts or loans could also feel the squeeze. The ripple effect hits harder and faster than most people realize. And then there's the economy. Markets usually get nervous when the government can't keep its own doors open. That uncertainty can slow down growth, affect investments, and even shake international confidence in the United States. It sounds dramatic, but history has shown us that even a short shutdown can have long-lasting consequences. So, do you think politicians actually consider these ripple effects when they dig in, or are they just focused on winning the political battle? Now, you might be wondering, if shutdowns are so bad, why don't lawmakers just avoid them? That's where it gets messy. Some Republicans, especially the more hardline members, want to push for significant spending cuts. They see this moment as leverage. On the other hand, Democrats are determined to protect programs like healthcare, education, and environmental funding. Neither side wants to give in because giving in looks like weakness, and with elections always around the corner, nobody wants to be seen as caving. And here's something to think about. If you were in Congress, would you rather hold your ground for your principles, even if it meant hurting everyday people in the short term, or would you compromise quickly just to keep the lights on? That's not an easy question, and it's part of why these standoffs keep happening. So, what could actually happen next? There are a few possibilities. Lawmakers could agree on a short-term fix, basically kicking the can down the road and funding the government for a few weeks or months. They could pass a massive catch-all deal, an omnibus bill, that tries to satisfy enough members on both sides. Or, if no one blinks, the government really does shut down and both parties hope the other gets more blame from the public. It's a high-stakes staring contest. And speaking of blame, public opinion matters a lot here. Politicians care about how voters see them. If one party takes the lion's share of criticism, that could shape not just the next election, but also how negotiations play out in the future. So, here's another question for you. Do you think voters will actually remember the standoff when it comes time to cast ballots, or will it just fade into the background like so many past shutdowns? At the end of the day, this isn't just about Democrats versus Republicans. It's about whether our government can function the way it's supposed to. Every time there's a shutdown, trust in the system erodes a little more. And honestly, I think a lot of Americans are just tired of the endless gridlock. So, what do you think is the real solution here? Should Congress reform the budget process to make shutdowns less likely? Should there be automatic funding to prevent these standoffs? Or do you think the pressure of a shutdown is the only way to force real negotiations? That's where I'll leave it for now, but I'd love to hear your perspective in the comments. This is one of those issues where everyone has an opinion, and it's always fascinating to see how different people view the same problem. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with a friend who's following the news, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more deep dives coming your way, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.